We are all looking for a happy life, right?
This is what I hear really often when I start working with my clients. How do I know what I want? And what do I need to do to feel balanced and calm? And this is also what I ask myself, especially as a woman. Following the expectations from the outside can't be the solution because there are too many contradictions, too many polarities. Comparing yourself to others, not the best way to stay true to yourself. I experience it myself. For example, I like to use makeup or try different hairstyles. It's fun to me. However, I'm regularly told by other women and men on social media that I should stop that because it would A, not fit to my profession as a psychologist, and B, I would put pressure on other women to do the same. But then, if I show normal signs of aging, like my gray hair, I have to justify myself for showing it. Should we wear what we want as a woman, or should we consider how these clothes might affect our perceived competence? Should we stay with the kids and maybe become the desperate housewife? Or should we work, taking the risk to be the bossy businesswoman, not loving our kids? I think judgment can be everywhere, no matter which path we take. And yes, many times it's a woman's appearance that is judged, because that's the first thing that you can see. You're too skinny, you're too curvy, you're too old, you're too young, you're too loud, you're too shy. But all the mechanisms that I will explain today can be transferred to any other deeper level of a woman's life. Why do we allow ourselves to judge others, especially women, even though we don't have any permission to do so? Why does our brain take that way so easily? And what do we need to learn to think open-minded? Hi, I am Linda. I'm a psychologist, coach, content creator, and I'm a woman, a wife, and a mom. So let's take a look at the psychological mechanisms behind judgmental behavior. And the first mechanism is that we love to think inside the box. To think inside the box means that you have clear concepts. This is a woman, this is a man, this is how a smart person looks, and this is how you recognize a loving mom. To think inside the box is easy, it's comfortable, it's fast. It's like being on a mental highway. And being on a highway is most of the time exactly what we're looking for, right? It's practical. But when we're too fast, we might overlook things. I'll give you an example. Close your eyes, all of you, and think of a lawyer. How does this person look like? How old is this person? Is it male, female, or diverse? And now open your eyes and raise your hand when you just thought of the white man in his 50s wearing a suit, maybe a collar shirt. Thank you. And probably not so many have thought of her or someone like her. Because Kim Kardashian is a law student outside the box. She doesn't fit into the concept of a lawyer that we've learned, that our brain learned. So to think outside the box means that our brain has to consider a lot more concepts of a law student, for example. If you compare that to the mental highway, to think outside the box means you have to take the unknown trail, the unknown hiking trail with rocks and obstacles in front of you. You might get a nicer view, but it's much more exhausting. You need motivation, you need concentration to take this unknown trail. And our brain prefers an automatic and fast way to get an understanding of our surrounding, no matter if it's right or wrong. So that's the first motivation why we judge so easily. And everybody who's thinking now, that's exhausting, unknown trail, hiking trail, oh my God. The more often you do it, the easier it gets. The more often you take the unknown trail, the more familiar it gets. Neurons that fire together, wire together. This is a saying from Donald Hebb, and it describes how pathways in our brain are formed through repetition. So that's the first motivation. The second motivation, why we're so easy with a judgmental behavior, is that we do not like to have difficult feelings. When I got this message from the woman who told me that I should stop wearing makeup as a psychologist, it was obvious that she was offended by my behavior. I want you to stop doing X or Y because it gives me a difficult feeling, and we don't like to have them. Imagine your arm was broken. You wouldn't move that arm, right? Because that's painful. And experiencing these difficult emotions is the same pain. So there's a natural instinct against them. If we have the choice, we want blue sky, sunshine, maybe a cocktail in our hand. That's the kind of emotions that we like. As a psychologist, I know that we need all of them, but we have a tendency to focus on the good ones. And one example that underlines this tendency is that cat videos are still the mostly viewed category on YouTube. Cat videos give us this easiness. This is happy life. This is what we like. So, two big motivations to stick with a judgmental behavior. First, we like to think inside the box. It's easy and fast. And second, we are trying to avoid difficult emotions. It doesn't really work, but we are trying. However, you will never get to the point where all the people who disturb your peace will change for you. It's not going to happen. And you make your happiness dependent on others. You let others rule your peace. And this is something that our psyche doesn't like at all. We need to have a sense of control. We need to get back in the driver's seat to be happy. So welcome to open-mindedness. Open-mindedness is defined as the willingness to search actively for evidence against our favorite belief and to weigh such evidence fairly. Yes, it means we need your willingness. We need your effort. But as a result, you might get more mental freedom and probably more peace. So what do we need to do? I have 3 steps for you. First, we need to create some consciousness in this fast process of judging. So the first step is be aware of your thoughts. When you entered that room, what was your first thought when you saw the person next to you? And when you saw me on stage, what did your brain tell you? Did you realize? Listen to these thoughts if you want to practice to think open-minded. Maybe by meditating, maybe by breathing consciously, or maybe by writing your thoughts down. When I went to therapy myself, my therapist made me write down my thoughts while observing other people, using public transport, at work, at the supermarket, for a whole week. And it was shocking to me, because I realized how judgy I was. Try it for 1 to 2 days if you want to get to know yourself a little bit better. If you have this consciousness, go to step 2. Step 2 are helpful questions to start self-reflection. Instead of finger pointing at other people, focus inward. I give you an example. A couple of months ago, we went to the doctor. My daughter was with us. She was 6 months there. I was carrying her. My husband was next to me, and we met a friend. And this friend said, what are you doing? And we started talking about the topic that I am working, and my husband is full-time with our daughter. And she said, "That's too early. You're working? She's 6 months, that's too early." I mean, I didn't ask her, but okay. And 10 or 15 years ago, I probably would have thought the same. I grew up in a German family. My mom was with us, my dad was working. And the concept that I had of motherhood was that a mom stays with the kids. So let's take a look at these questions. Why did I feel disturbed by a working mom? Because it was unknown to me. And maybe I felt some kind of pressure that I have to do something like this too. Maybe I didn't like the idea that I would be responsible for earning money and be with a kid. Is there something that scared me? Yes. I was scared what other people could think of me. And is there something that I didn't allow myself? Yes. I didn't allow myself the idea that I could love my job and love my daughter. So, answering these questions honestly gives you an opportunity to work on your own topics. And this is something that's in your circle of power, that you can actually change. And if you do so, you might open the door to your happiness. And the last step, learn from kids. Kids are the best teacher to be present and to enjoy this presence. Kids do not want to take the fast and efficient highway. They want to take the unknown trail. They want to discover new things. And they're curious. They're curious instead of pretending to know everything. Observing my daughter and her joy, getting to know other people, is the best reminder for me that we can learn to cultivate this curiosity again. And they're fluid. One day they like a thing, next day they don't. One second they cry, next second they laugh. I think accepting this constant change helps to think open-minded. And they take their time if they want to. And slowness helps to ask yourself, is this the way I want to think? So let's get back to the question from the beginning. How do we create our own happy life? I think practicing open-mindedness helps a lot. By leaving this mental box of things and humans need to be like this and that, it gets a lot easier to create your own definition of a good life. To make yourself a priority. Plus, you waste less energy by comparing yourself to others and probably get frustrated. And you're getting less angry because other people do not live the life you want them to. It gets easier to focus on you. And because I know that this kind of thinking gets easier with a good mood, let's do a little exercise to push your happiness. So take a pen or a finger, whatever you have, and put it between your teeth, like this, yeah? According to the facial feedback hypothesis, this fake smile will improve your mood, and with a good mood, flexible and creative thinking gets easier. Thank you.